Hello, and welcome to this mleeARC tutorial. I'm Mike Lee, and today we're going to learn how to model compound curves. So that's surfaces that curve in more than one direction. First we'll go over how to create a single curved surface. Then we'll create kind of a faux compound curve simply by inverting one edge. Then we'll get into the tedious process of constructing the kind of mesh object that is the compound curve. So first let's go over the curves. To create a curve you can use the arc tool. And the arc tool will only give you an equilateral curve, but it should suffice for this tutorial. Curves are best used when you first create a surface with which to guide the curve. So we'll start out with our rectangle tool by hitting R. Give it some dimensions. I'm just going to do 12 by 24. Alright, and now we're going to divide these edges by 3. Right click, divide. L for our line tool, and we're going to connect 1/3 of this edge to the last third of this edge. Okay? Now we'll press A to get our arc tool, and we'll draw from the midpoint of our diagonal to our corner. And when it snaps blue, that's tangent to edge. That's what we want. We'll repeat the same process for the top side. So A for the arc tool, draw it out. When it turns blue, snap it. Alright, now we can erase our diagonal line here. And if we use the push-pull tool by hitting P, we can extrude a block. We'll give that a dimension of 12. And then we can erase what we don't need. Sometimes you gotta come back and fill in. We'll just triple click, right click, and soften smooth edges. And there you go. There's your curved surface. Now we could just use the scale tool to invert one of the edges and pretend we have a compound curve. And I can show you that. So grab an edge, S for the scale tool, scale it by -1 to invert it, M to move, we'll move it back up the red axis by 12 units. Sweet, and this trick should suffice for some models. But for this tutorial, it'd be kind of lame if I just stopped there. So, if you look at this surface, it looks kind of like a taut skin rather than, a flowing, smooth curve. So what we need to do is create some ribs that will kind of inform the geometry of the surface. So I'm just going to triple click that, group it, Control C to copy, Control V to paste, and we'll work on a separate one. Move it over 48 units. Alright. So we're going to create a box selection and drawing it left so as to select anything that intersects it. And we're going to delete all that geometry between the edges. We're going to make this a group just so it doesn't stick into anything. Right click, make this a group, Control C to copy, Control V to paste, and we're going to exit the component, the group real quick, and I'm going to just draw in a quick cube and make it a group, and that just helps us move things and rotate things a little easier. See, so I can use Q to rotate and rotate along this face, and that'll give me the correct axis. Rotate by 90 degrees. Scale it down by half. M to move. Move it over and snap it into place. Control C to copy, Control V to paste. Q to rotate by 180 degrees. M to move. We'll move it into place. So you're starting to see what we're going for here, right? Now we're going to repeat the process for all the endpoints until we reach the middle. Then copy all of that and mirror it on the other side. So Control-C to copy, Control-V to paste. Place it on the endpoint. Make sure it snaps to the other endpoint. And repeat. Alright, I will select all of those ribs, Control-C to copy, Control-V to paste, rotate, Q to rotate by 180 degrees, M to move it into place, snap it to where you need it. Great. Select all, explode. Alright, now we need to start generating faces to create our surface. And for this, since this is essentially for the same unit repeated over, we can just cut it into quads. Make it a component. Reassemble it. How do I rotate this? This needs to go. Rotate this way. Reassemble it. And then when we edit one, the entire surface will be created. I think we rotate this on the blue axis by 180, correct? Yes, alright. Now we just go through the tedious task of filling in faces. So drawing an edge from one endpoint to another and triangulating the faces. Make sure where you're drawing it turns green, and that means it's snapping to an endpoint. So to fill in the rest of this section here, we can just right-click and divide this by 12, because we essentially have 12 of these faces here next to it. Alright, so we'll just select all of these components, right-click, explode. Click one of your faces, orient all faces, select all, right-click, smooth. And boom. There you go. Make this a group and I'm going to pull it over. So we just went from this extruded sine curve to this kind of faux compound curve to this smooth compound curve. So that concludes our tutorial. Thanks for tuning in. See you next time.